Imam Wahaj,
Yes.
many African American Muslims have expressed concern that their contribution to Islam in this country has oftentimes been neglected. What do you think that African American Muslims should be doing now to ensure that their legacy is not erased from the pages of history?
I think the first thing we have to do is stop blaming others for something that we failed to do. Perhaps the greatest man that ever walked this earth, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, as great as he was, he is the last messenger of Allah. But you think about him, how do we know so much about him? It was his followers who carried the legacy of the Prophet ﷺ. Certainly he was the messenger of Allah, but I remember he taught us that there are some prophets had no followers. Some had one or two followers. And he said he hoped that he would have the greatest among followers on the Day of Judgment. And before he died, he had over 100,000 companions. And these 100,000 companions carried his message. It is very difficult to go to any Jummah prayer Friday and listen to any sermon without hearing the Imam say, "And Abi Hurairah radiallahu an." And it was narrated by Abu Hurairah, one of the great companions of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, who witnessed the work that was done by the Prophet, and it was documented in a hadith. Likewise, what we need to do is begin to work and ourselves collect the data, to get the information, to do the research and find out the contributions of African Americans in this country has been unbelievable, almost infinite in number. But now and again, we have to take it and let the world know about it. I think the more we get people who feel that, you know what, we've done a lot of work, and I think it's important that we hand down the work and let the people know the great contributions of African Americans in the United States and in the rest of the world, inshallah.
Now, across the country, the plague of African American crime, or black on black crime, or black self-genocide is currently scourging these American cities, specifically New York City, Chicago, Newark, New Jersey, and many of these deaths are actually African American Muslim youth. How would you respond to that? What should the Islamic community or the African American Islamic community should be doing to counter black on black crime, specifically as it pertains to African American young people?
There are two great examples that we get in our religion. The first one is that of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. And as you know, that he received the revelation after his 40th year. And the wisdom of that is that he had gotten a reputation even before he became the prophet of Allah as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. And so therefore, when he emerged as the messenger of God, he had a very compelling argument. He said, you know me. And yes, we know you, Al-Amin, and we believe in you, and we trust you. So that's the first model. The second model is very interesting, and that is the for lack of a better word, the Malcolm X model. Islam comes and it purifies, it cleans, it guides, and so the argument goes like this: I am Malcolm X. This is what I used to be. You know me. I was a drug addict, I was this, and I was a pusher, and I was a pimp, and I was all of these things, but look at what I am now. The reason that I say that is that we Muslims have to take the example of what Islam has done for us. We know that it can work in the community, in the inner cities. One of the things that the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, he was telling his companions that they should always give charity, they should give sadaqah. And someone said, well, what if I don't have anything to give? He said, well, enjoin the good and forbid the evil. What if I don't have that? Or even say a good word is charity. And then he said something interesting. So if you don't have that, then stop yourself from doing evil to others, and that will be for you sadaqah. So when you look at the Muslims changing our society, I remember when we first started our masjid in 1981, 30-something years ago, it was an area full of crime, drug addiction, prostitution. Allah blessed us, we moved into that area and we cleaned it up. That's what can happen. You know, the model of the people from the, I think called the Weight Watchers, Who do they use? They used people that had difficulty with their weight, and they used their product, and then they became a great example. Likewise, we should do the same thing all throughout the cities of America. You have people who used to be Muslims. Not all of them were bad people. Many of them were. Not all of them. Some of them were criminals. We have 350,000 Muslims in the prisons of America. And when they come out, where they're going, inshallah, they're going to the masjid. Many of them converted inside of prison. So this is the example, and the example is Muslims taking that message and taking it to the people, going to the inner city. One thing I have to say, I have to be honest, that no one has done it as much as the brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam. They have gone out more than anyone else, and I used to be there. I used to be a minister in the Nation of Islam, and we went door to door, inviting the people to what we believe to be was the right guidance. We need to pick up our game, if you would. We need to do that, and we need to invite the people to guidance. And at least, if they're not going to become Muslim, at least stop killing themselves. We have to be a voice in the community. We have to run to the community and make them know us, God willing.
We thank you very much for joining us, Imam Wahaj.
Thank you.